Hi, I'm here. Uh, excuse me. This morning, um, I was going through my tabs. I think I've said before that at any point in time I can have like up to 100 tabs open, and so I decided today to go through some of them and get rid of them, do the reading. I save them because I want to read them eventually. And I am being very honest with you. The oldest tab that I have on open right now is nearly 3 years. So some of these tabs have been sitting here for a very long time. Um, it, these are in the inactive tabs that not used for 21 days, but I do know um, that they've been sitting there for a long. One of them, I know it was 3 years because I remember the day I opened it. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the tabs that I have open right now um, is Proverbs 18. And the beginning of this writing here is contrast the upright and the wicked. Um, so when I originally opened the tab, it was in the NIV, which is the New International Version. I went from reading that to reading the King James Version. And though I understand the text, I was, I don't know, I decided to read it in the Amplified Bible. Now, the thing about the Amplified Bible that can be kind of questionable here is the fact that the Amplified Bible is a formal equivalent translation of the Bible that enhances the clarity of Scripture by using in text amplifications. The amplifications are based on the nuances of the Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic languages, as well as the latest advances in biblical research. To some extent, when we've been instructed not to add or take away, this would be that would kind of fall under that. So I've never really been a fan of the Amplified Bible, but it's just very interesting because my parents, they had multiple versions of the Bible. They had a King James, they had an NIV, and they had an Amplified Bible. So I am about to read the Amplified version because it hit. And I had some things happen this week and throughout the time on this channel that it kind of moved me to tears because I ain't new to this shit. I'm true to it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't. It's been sitting here, but I know I haven't read it in a long time, if at all. Um, I always say I don't. One of the things I don't know the verses in the Bible. I just happen to I don't know. I just happen to function that way, I guess. There's something in here where I almost said it word for word to this lady the other day, and but it's still very important. I just want to share it with you because I don't know. I feel like you know a lot of us have been going through things that fall into this. So this is Proverbs 18, Amplified Bible version. Um, he who willfully separates himself from God and man seeks his own desire. He quarrels against all sound wisdom. A close minded fool does not delight in understanding, but only in revealing his personal opinions, unwittingly displaying his self indulgence and his stupidity. When the wicked man comes to the depth of evil, contempt of all that is pure and good also comes, and with inner baseness, dishonor, comes outer shame, scorn. The words of a man's mouth are like deep waters, copious and difficult to fathom, but the fountain of mature, godly wisdom is like a bubbling stream, sparkling fresh, pure, and life giving. To show respect to the wicked person is not good, nor to push aside and deprive the righteous of injustice. The righteous of justice. A fool's lips bring contention and strife, and his mouth invites a beating. A fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his soul. The words of a whisperer, gossip, are like dainty morsels to be greedily eaten. They go down into the innermost chambers of the body to be remembered and mused upon. He who is careless in his work is a brother to him who destroys. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous runs to it and is safe and set on high, far above evil. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall of protection in his own imagination and conceit. Before disaster, the heart of a man haughty and filled with self importance, but humility comes before honor. He who answers before he hears the facts, it is folly and shame to him. The spirit of a man sustains him in sickness, but as for a broken spirit, who can bear it? The mind of the prudent always acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise always seeks knowledge. A man's gift, given in love or courtesy, makes room for him and brings him more great men. The first one to plead his case seems right until another comes and cross examines him. To cast lots puts an end to quarrels and decides between powerful contenders. A brother offended is harder to win over than a fortified city, and contentions separating families are like the bars of a castle. A man's stomach will be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and he will be satisfied with the consequence of his words. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it and indulge it will eat its fruit and bear the consequences of their words. He who finds a true and faithful wife finds a good thing and obtains favor and approval from the Lord. The poor man pleads, but the rich man answers roughly. And the man of too many friends, chosen indiscriminately, will be broken in pieces and come to ruin. But there is true, loving friend who is reliable and sticks closer than a brother. So, we're gonna hit some points here. All of this has been discussed on my channel. All of it. One, when I was raised, Proverbs is a book of wisdom. You know, this is Solomon. The majority of it was written by Solomon. Um, and so they believe that Solomon was one of the wisest kings. So let's get into it a little bit. There's a few that when I read it, I was like, okay. So one, it's very important. It doesn't. I don't think it really. When we get into this, note that yes, it does say. It does speak of Jehovah in this book of Yahweh. However, these are just the facts of life. This has nothing to do with religion. It clearly states that a closed-minded fool does not delight in understanding. It does not matter what you believe in. That's facts. It's facts. It doesn't matter who you believe in. To be closed minded, it's literally called upon you as a human being on this earth to function with an open mind. Specifically this week, I didn't really get into it with anyone, but there was a lady on. I was suffering from insomnia. I haven't been sleeping well. Last night I slept 37 minutes. So once it's taken a while, I start to, dive onto social media, and this woman had just went on this rant about her opinions in regards to people having children, and oh, you have triplets, mom's milking the recovery time and all this stuff. And I just told her, I was like, it's like really weird, like, because what happened, here's what happened. When she started that little thing, some random woman comes onto her. We're all randoms, we don't know each other, but this other lady comes in and she just starts spewing all this stuff and offending her. Literally, this right here is literally, I just watched it happen. Ladies being foolish. She wants to spew her opinions, which are very stupid, because you could have went on the people's page and saw that everything you said did not align. It was literally just your opinion on the situation that you had no facts about. But then um, it opened up the ability for other people to come in and give their even far more closed-minded opinions that then offended her. And she couldn't see, for some reason, she could not see that her behavior had opened that up, right? So, I went in and said a lot of this stuff here to in a more modern way. Um, and so, um, it is required of you to be open minded in order to have like a fulfilling life. Um, other things that I found interesting here. To show respect to the wicked person is not good, nor to punish aside and deprive the righteous of justice. So when we get into the principalities, the government, the justice system, this is how they're functioning right now. Um, and even, wow, I just said something this morning to someone, because when it comes to race relations, okay, which is something that I don't always touch base on, because I am not personally divided in any way, but I see that you know people sans color, um, some do call for their they recognize certain things, like not having you know not having a diverse friend group, right? um, One of the things that I mentioned to someone when they were calling upon people to do this, said, because they were like, oh no, this isn't about, getting rid of some of your friends, and excluding your white friends, and now including black friends. This is about, you know, growing your social group. Well, the problem with that is, that people are still, um, they're still showing respect to people who are wicked when it comes to race relations. That makes that very difficult, because then that is where that injustice of not having a more diverse group comes from, because you're still upholding and showing respect to people, building wealth with people that want to uphold those racial biases. Okay, so even in that way, I can see that there. That's just on a macro level. I mean, micro level. When it comes to race relations, this goes far, way, way higher and way more macro. But that would be a good example, because another person in that comment section had mentioned, like, the reason that I can't believe I'm talking about this, but it's actually really true. And this was a person sans color speaking on it. The reason that there is a lack of diverse friend groups within their culture is because their culture is made of networking and wealth building, and essentially their friendships are more transactional. And because there's that disparity in um, generational wealth, um, most of the time you're not going to come across someone within your type of tax bracket. Um, and because of that, they do not find any worth within the adding diversity to their friend group, because essentially the person that they add would be lacking socially, like social, economically. Okay, so um, that is another way, because I would believe that capitalism is a form of wickedness. And so that is something to consider when we speak on this verse here. Okay, so I already spoke on a fool's lips bring contention and strife, and his mouth invites a beating. No, I didn't, but I mean, that first scenario when I was talking about the woman who was saying all that stuff, and then all of a sudden this other woman comes and she doesn't understand why this one, why are you talking like this to me? I don't, you know. Another thing that I would like to mention, because I've mentioned it before, sometimes when when it comes to like reactive abuse and things on that type of topic, and saying, okay, sometimes you are witnessing, you'll say to someone, oh, you need to control yourself. You can't control anyone. You need to control yourself. It says right here that that is the consequence of behavior from from another, and it doesn't necessarily say that it's acceptable, simply that it could be expected. So sometimes when we are judging each other and we're like, well, you could have controlled yourself, you didn't have to respond, you didn't have to stoop to their level, understand that that is actually natural and expected. Um, a fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his soul. This next one is a good one. The words of a whisperer are like dainty morsels to be greedily eaten, and they go down into the innermost chambers of the body to be remembered and mused upon. When this verse in King James, I believe, goes into his belly. Why and it gosh. Sorry, like as my brain is processing some of this stuff, it's coming in and it's just wild. Where when you speak on the depths of your belly and your soul and your body, and you speak on the belly is the solar plexus. Okay, so when a person gossips, what they're actually doing is they're building their self-esteem by choosing by denigration of another. That's what it's describing here. um to be greedily eaten. And remember when I said, uh when I was speaking on the Lord of the Flies, what was the name of I forget what the name of that video is, but it's the Lord of the Flies something, right? And I said that gossip could be considered a form. You could consider that a greed, or what was the word I used? I forget. I forget, but I know that I mentioned it. I mentioned it twice in the videos that were coming up, when I had mentioned another video. That same video is about to come up on something else I said, but excuse me. Um, what is the word? I can't remember. Excuse me, though. I'm doing really well for only having 37 minutes of sleep. Okay, so just bear with me. Gluttony. All right. Gossip could be a form. You could use gossip as a form of gluttony when you are too indulgent in, denigration of others. So to be remembered and mused upon. Muse is a word of inspiration. So they are now inspired by their ability to harm another with their words. Okay. So, um, ah, I like this one. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous runs to it and is safe and set on high, far above evil. This comes to spiritual ranking. Okay. Jeremiah and Aaron, those are names that literally mean of high ranking or to be appointed. So, in the Bible, you see that these people were placed in high places. Now, Aaron eventually did um, receive punishment for when Moses went to Mount Sinai. There's a mount. I don't remember. Remember, but when he went to get the Ten Commandments, Aaron did lose his ranking. However, his name originally had high ranking because he did believe in the Most High God. Jeremiah, also someone who was conspired against. Okay, um, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous runs to it and is safe and set on high. So they were placed in high ranking. But this is the one that I really like because it is essentially a similar analogy as the couch in that video. I do not remember the name of that video either, but the rich man's wealth is his strong city and like a high wall of protection in his own imagination and conceit. So I've already given you a similar metaphor when rich people are able to escape their karma because they're paying people off, which takes you right back to um, it takes you right back to 5. To show respect to the wicked person is not good, nor to push aside and deprive the righteous of justice, right? So people will go on the side of the wicked. In that video, I used Epstein as an example where people were paid off and things of that nature. And all it took was one person not to take, and they considered it a cushion. They are cushioned. Um, all it takes is one person not to take that, and that tower falls down. That couch falls on them, gives out. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I've already mentioned it, but I just want to mention it again because, um, especially for like I know there's people that are on my side, but I just I guess this is a demonstration of uh you know okay, I don't know the Bible like you do. I can't give you exact Bible verses. Um, I don't read my Bible as often as you do. Um, but there's a difference between living it and knowing it. And so sometimes these are given to me to, I guess, to remind me that I'm all right. I'm okay. So again, it brings up the a man's stomach will be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and he will be satisfied with the consequences of his words. So this is simply just giving you what the consequences will be for people who live this way. Okay, this pretty much sums up the whole. Oh, you like to gossip? Okay, you like to start fights? Okay, you like to spew your opinions and no facts? Okay, well that's fine because you will. One, you are satisfied being that way. You don't, because you're a fool, you don't want to make those strides and those choices that bring unity and peace to people. And you are satisfied with that. You enjoy that because your opinions make you are standing on your high tower. Got him jumping out the building. Look out below. All right. So yeah, and everybody knows death and life are in the power of the tongue. All right. Y'all know that one. I think that was one of the first things that I ever spoke on when it comes to speaking on witchcraft, because that's literally all it is. And those who love it and indulge in it will eat its fruit. Okay? It repeats this twice. Okay? Pay attention. 20. A man's stomach will be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and he will be satisfied with the consequences of his words. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it and indulge it will eat its fruit and bear consequences of their words. It says it twice. Gossip, gossip. You just stop it. That's funny. I brought up two Kanye songs, and I haven't even got to listen to Vultures yet, but I'll get there, man. I'll get there. Um, so the last couple of verses are about finding a wife, and the poor man pleads, but the rough man answers roughly. Yeah, y'all be got for that too. Okay, that is another form of we living in these times. Capitalism, right? Oh my gosh, it will take $20 billion in order to stop homelessness, but all the people that are in charge of making sure that we get that money, all the people that are in charge, oh, just get to work, work harder. It's your fault that you're poor. It's not funny, but it's the truth. And then they turn around and they fund wars. With 17, we're going to go ahead and vote for $17 billion. That's going to make more people homeless. Oh, God. It never ends. But it never ends because the choices are up to you. Which side are you going to be on? That's it for my sermon today. Y'all have a good